going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually, no, we're not. I just couldn't. I just skipped the intro going. I can't be stopped. But the reason why I say actually we're not, if you guys didn't see, I was talking about this set on the Penny Stock Market Watch and how much of a disappointment. Like, I honestly think the entire. You guys can let me know in the comments if you saw the video. Like, I think the entire video was just kind of me roasting Soulburning Volcano. Like, I was trying to make the cards make sense, but it just didn't. I mean, at the very least, the set itself is in the top 24 best-selling things. I'm very curious to see because there wasn't, when it was a Penny Stock Market Watch, there wasn't a single card under $5 or less that was from that set. And it's not because a lot of the cards are really expensive, it's just because no one's buying them. Right, like Duel's Nexus was all over the top 24, and the first card. Let me just do this. Let me switch to cards. I'm just curious because, like, I'm not trying to like roast it part two. I was actually trying to find the positives about Soulburning Volcano in this video, but first we gotta find what card is selling the best. So no cards from Soulburning Volcano are in the top 24 best-selling cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. Is just nobody buying the set? It's gotta be. 27, 30, 33, 36. Wait, is it not on page 2? No way. At least the set's doing relatively well, I guess. But for a brand new set, what in the world? Is it not included on here? Okay, so we got to go to page 4. And I think the Salomon Great Wolf go. Okay, right as I was saying it. So what is page 4? So 3 times 24 is 48, 72. 74th best-selling card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Salomon Great Sunlight Wolf Ghost Rare Edition. And I will say this, right? Like I said, I spent most of the Penny Stock Market Watch roasting Soulburning Volcano, no pun intended. I'm not going to do that with this one. I was really trying to find the positive. The reason why this is the best-selling card from the set, and what is 70-something, right? This is the chase card of Soulburning Volcano. And the reason why, like, literally Soulburning Volcano, like, oh my goodness. The second best-selling card is Volcanic Trooper, which is crazy that it's beating Emperor. But I think Emperor is the second most expensive card. Yes, it is. For $10. That's crazy. I guess if you were worried about Battling Boxer, Salomon Great, or Volcanic being expensive, I mean, it's not. But I think the reason it's not is because people just don't think the decks are going to be very good. But, excuse me, this is proof of Ghost Rare, right? Like when we talk about, you know, blue chip stocks, kind of the opposite of penny stocks, as I'm wandering all over the place. When we talk about blue chip stocks in Yu-Gi-Oh, what would those be considered? Well, first off, the definition of a blue chip stock is a stock that's just consistently getting better as time goes on. Rarely sees any losses, rarely goes down. Like Google, Apple, Disney used to be in that category, it's not anymore. But if we had that for Yu-Gi-Oh, it would be Ghost Rares. The cheapest Ghost Rare you can get is number 101 Silent Honor Arc at $15. Right? I mean, that's just crazy. And that's why, if we can go back far enough, the best-selling card for Soulburning Volcano, probably the only reason the set is not worth $20 is because of the existence of this card. Now, I think there's 2 versions. There are 5 versions. Oh my goodness, I did not know that. There's the OTS Super Rare, which probably was the best, the most popular, the most chased card. Because here's the interesting thing. Do you notice what set is not on here? The set that's not on here for Sunlight Wolf, and this is why Sunlight Wolf's always been a relatively highly chased card, is the Structure Deck. Structure Deck Soulburner. The Structure Deck Soulburner, which I think the Soulburner Structure Deck is more expensive than the Volcano set is. It's close. It's very close if it's lower, if I can find it. It is more expensive. That is insane. But anyway, That'll probably go down soon, the reprints. But I don't know why this set structure deck is still so expensive. But there is no Sunlight Wolf, right? Sunlight Wolf was always, because it is the best, in my opinion at least, the best Link monster for Salamangreat, right? So now Salamangreat players who, if you want the highest rarity Salamangreat deck, you're looking at about, honestly, like $40, maybe like 50, 60 even, 60 for like high rarity Salamangreat. Like, I don't think eBay is going to do it justice, but maybe it will. If we go to eBay and we type in high rarity Salamangreat deck, it's really not that expensive. Yeah, okay, so the core, you can get a core of high rarities for $100. Because Foxy's got secrets. Yeah, the Foxy secrets. Jack has a ultra. It doesn't look like that's what that is. These are the highest rarity. Did Roar have a higher rarity? I think Circle does too. But anywho, you can get all of this highest rarity. Access code Talker's missing from this too. That's really not a good. This is not a good thing to buy. But now they have something else to get. I actually do think this card will be a good buy going forward. As we look at what it's been doing, it's just been plummeting, this nosediving, and I think the reason for that is because the set isn't very good. Like, I think the set is bringing this card down, but it is a ghost rare. They are kind of blue chips. If you can get it for $45, I'd pull the trigger. And honestly, when we look at what's at Soul Burning Volcano, you could potentially have 3 relatively fun, budget-friendly decks, and have all the cards you need from this set. There are, some really, 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 really good cards that got printed in here. I kind of wanted to see if there's any other reprints other than Foxy, like Jack Jaguar. Roar is in here. Rage is in here. Circle, Foul, Will, Sanctuary. Is Gazelle in here? Because there's Helio and there's Mirage Stalio. Right? So you can build an entire Salamangreat deck for essentially $60. Because I'd assume... where is Gazelle? Is Gazelle not in? Okay, there he is. There's Gazelle. Or she. I don't know what Gazelle's gender is. But you can essentially build an entire Salamangreat deck by buying 2 of these. I would assume you're going to get everything that you need from just 2 of those. Now, it's definitely possible that you don't, but it's also possible that you pull one of these. And that would just be icing on the cake, really. The fact that you bought 2 of these for $80, you have a full, definitely rogue, potentially tier 1 deck, or tier 2, excuse me, not tier 1, but tier 2 deck in Salamangreat with a ghost rare version of Sunlight Wolf, right? So that's pretty cool. On top of that, you'd like to see some volcanic reprints in here. I think there are some relatively good reprints in here. Like, I don't want to completely dive into the set, but I think there are some good volcanic reprints in here too. So there honestly could be a lot of potential with just going over to the box and saying, you know what, this is super cheap for a box. $40 for a brand new box. I could go over here, buy 3 of them for $113. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me get rid of that's annoying me. Okay, for $113, $140. Let's say it's on $120, right after taxes out the door. $120. You get 3 viable decks. Now, don't quote me on that and buy 3 of these and go, well, I'm missing this card and this card. You said if I bought 3, I'd be fine. But I think it's a definite possibility. I don't know the ratios perfectly. It might just be better to get a case. Let me see if I can find that. I don't think I remember seeing that, though. Yeah, there's no case yet. But you might be able to go to your locals and say, I want a case of Soul Burning Volcano. Because I'd assume if this is the 74th or whatever it was, best-selling card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is the 23rd or whatever it was, best-selling product in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd assume that the local card shops are struggling as well, right? Now, we're about halfway through this video. Let's just click on this article, actually by TCG Player Infinite. This is top 10 cards. This was by Lucas Peterson. This was published 3 days ago on the Friday that this came out. So shout out to Lucas getting that quickly. I think it's Lucas. It could be Laucus, but I think it's Lucas. This is interesting because this is what's interesting. This first sentence, I don't want to read the entire article, but this first sentence is so crazy because it says, I think Soulburning Volcano made the first legendary duelist set where all the themes featured in it have multiple good cards, all bound to be crowd pleasers for their fan bases. But the set is worth nothing. $40. That is worth nothing. So the first card is 7th Force. During the battle phase, if a monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a number of Xyz monster in your graveyard. Special summon one C monster with the same type, but one rank higher. And if you do, attach that monster to it as material. Then if you special summon one between 101 or 107, you can add a 7th or Barbarian Spell and Trap. Rank up. This is really cool because it searches rank ups, quick play spells, which I really like. There's not a lot of stuff that does that, but it's very specific, so it's not like the best card. But as 46 cents, you can get a play set. This is definitely the type of card that could explode if given the opportunity. So shout out to Lucas for that. Battling Boxer, Uppercutter. This is really, really good in Battling Boxers. But for the price tag of $4, I just don't think it's that great unless you're going to play the deck. I don't see it getting any higher in value. It does search Flameveil Counter, which is really cool. I don't know how you could use this in a deck other than Battling Boxers. Like, maybe, like, Pendulums? Because, hear me out, like, use some... Because the Pendulums have, like, fire monsters, so you could make, like, Sunlight Wolf or Hiata, or just, like, use it as material for whatever. It is a warrior, right? So, Infernoble, right? You summon this card out, you search Flameveil Counter, and you can use this card to activate Flameveil Counter's requirement. So maybe this has playability outside of Battling Boxer, but if you're playing Battling Boxer, you definitely get a playset. Fire Injection, summon Pyromancer from your deck to the graveyard, then if a send a volcanic body, apply inflict damage equal to its level, or you special summon a bomb to your opponent's side of the field. Each time one is destroyed, it takes 500 damage. That is not good. The first effect is okay, especially for time. Like this card could potentially see itself as a time, like a side deck option where you run 3 of these in a volcanic rocket, or like 2 of them in a volcanic rocket, or a volcanic scattershot, not rocket, excuse me. You send down scattershot, and scattershot does scattershot things, right? But that's not very good. I wouldn't recommend buying this, actually. Sorry, Lucas. I read this card when we were talking about it, because it is a penny stock. So we're doing the penny stock market watch. But if your opponent controls a monster, I hate this clause. There's no reason to have this clause on a card in 2023. Like, the game is so fast, there's no reason to have that clause. But you can special summon this card from your hand. You contribute this card to special summon up to 2 Battling Boxer monsters with different names. But then you can banish this card from the graveyard, increase or decrease all levels you control by 1. That's pretty cool. It has to be Battling Boxer monsters. And then you can only use each effect once per turn, and you can't special summon other than Battling Boxer monsters. So this one literally is only good in a Battling Boxer deck, which won't be good. Like, between the 3 archetypes, Volcanics, Battling Boxers, and Salamangreat, this was the worst one. Battling Boxers was the worst one. So I think that this card has very poor value. Like, I don't really love this card, but Fire Injection feels like it has more value than Battling Boxer Promoter. This would probably be worth $1 in a year. And I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But Volcanic Trooper, if this card is normal special summon, you can add 1 Volcanic card from your deck to your hand. Accept itself. Discard a card, special summon a bomb token. Okay, so we're moving to bomb tokens. Respectable. I would love it if it said, like, the bomb tokens couldn't be tributed or used as link or synchro material. Like, if it just said, like, this card cannot be used for material, unless it's like a volcanic monster or something like that. Because, like, you could just, like, a Link Spider just gets rid of it without taking the damage. The first effect is why the card is so expensive. The fact that this can search Volcanic Rocket off of being special summoned. I'd like to search everything, right? Scattershot, Shell. I think that's Fire Injection. The new one that came out, I forget its name. We're probably going to see it, though, so that's okay. But for $8, that feels like a lot. But kind of do need to run 3, and I think Volcanics is the best deck from the 3 decks in the set. Like Salamangreat stuff made the deck a little better, but as long as Gazelle's at 1, that deck's not gonna be very good. Battling Boxer stuff made the deck a lot better, but that deck was so bad that literally an improvement of that magnitude still doesn't make it that good. It might be a good rogue option, right? And then Volcanic should be a tier 2 strategy. But for $8, I don't think Volcanic's going to be good enough to push us to the $10 mark, but it could be. Raging Phoenix is really good. And it only takes 2 fire effect monsters, which is interesting, but it only gets its effect if, using the material of itself. But being able to search Gazelle is fantastic. I love the link arrows that it has because they all point down. And then this card's pretty cool too. This effect is pretty cool too. And like I said, it's interesting because this is generic, relatively speaking generic. Like Infernobles could make this card, right? Volcanics can make this card and still get this effect, which could actually be pretty cool, especially because it can be destroyed by your own card effect, right? It's like Fire Kings, for example, right? Could potentially play this card. So for $6, I think if it was $5, I would say get it. I think since it's a little bit more, I'm not sure. Now, Battling Boxer, King Dempsey. If this card's special, you can take 1 level 4 or lower fire warrior monster, or a Battling Boxer spell and trap. Either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You get detachable material from this card you control, from a monster you control, and if you do, apply the following effect. They can't be targeted. This is literally only good in a Battling Boxer deck, which is another reason why $8 feels like a lot. Like, Battling Boxers do need this card now because this is probably the best Xyz monster the deck has, especially considering there's an Xyz monster that can add material to itself. So this effect should be almost always active, but $8 is a lot for an archetype specific card and an archetype that's not very good. Salamangreat of Fire. If this card is known, you can add a level 4 lower Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand except itself, but you can't spell summon except fire monsters. At the start of the damage step, if a Cyrus monster you control battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy that monster you control. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why it's doing that. But just being able to search Gazelle, like literally normal summon Salamangreat of Fire, add Gazelle. This could potentially make Foxy sort of come out of the deck, or at least not as at 3. But the problem is it's level 2. And the fact that it's level 2 just really messes with this card's playability in Salamangreat because they love the level 3s. But also it's a link spam deck, so who really cares, right? And it does activate when it's special summoned, so like Will of the Salamangreat could definitely trigger this card. For $7.50 though, I don't know if this card's a good buy unless you plan on playing Salamangreat. Then I do recommend getting at least 3. Sunlight Wolf. I think this has been clearly, no offense to Lucas. Let me get the last name right. Lucas Peterson. This has been the best selling card in the entire set. Right, so this is the Ghost Rare thing that we were talking about already. $50 actually might not be that bad of a buy, especially if this deck takes off, which it won't, but if it does. Right, and then finally Volcanic Emperor. I'm sure we all know what this does, but cannot be normal summoner set. Must be special summoned by banishing 3 Pyro monsters or a face-up Blaze Accelerator card, or in the graveyard. When this is summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each Pyro monster that is banished. Then you can set a Volcanic Trap, and then each time your opponent punches on the monster, inflict 500. Unfortunately for this card, right? And I know it's weird that I'm starting with unfortunately. Unfortunately for this card, it can only really be used in Volcanics. Like, maybe there could be a way to utilize this card somewhere else. I just can't think of it, right? So that is what's holding it back. But if Volcanics take off, which is definitely possible, we'll see what the results look like over the course of the week. Because I know this came out on Friday, but I always do these videos at the start of the week. So like next week, or maybe next week I'll be talking about what impact Soul Burning Volcano made on the meta. Because the set wasn't like super high impact. Doesn't mean that the they won't, like, while they're in play, they won't. I just wanted to say this one more time. This is by Lucas Peterson on TCG Player Infinite. He obviously gives his opinions, or they obviously give their opinions on the cards. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. But, like I said, like 4 minutes in maybe, you could potentially spend $120 and get three good rogue decks that potentially could be like, tier 2, tier 1, that could get you, your money back at a locals tournament, could get you your invite at a regional. I don't know. I've never really seen a booster box that's this cheap the week it came out. I think this is the Valley. I think this is as low as it could go, but if you can get it for 30, that's going to be hard to pass up. But like I always say, spend your money how you feel. If you want to get 15 copies of this set because of the potential value, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to get any because, you're worried that no one's buying it and that's why it's so cheap and that's why it's not on the best-selling penny stocks, it's not on the best-selling in general, you can do that as well. But let me know what you guys think in those comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button, show your support for the channel, subscribe for more content. But most importantly of all, have a good day.